You've tamed the voices in your head. You've put your courage to the test. Laid all your doubts to
Hi everyone, welcome from your Intuition Queen to a new episode of Intuitive Queens podcast. And today I want to talk to you about how to listen to your intuition, how to understand the messages of your intuition and what happens when you don't follow it. So I know this is a question that I get asked so many times, and that happens to everybody of us. Everybody has intuitive messages coming along the way because we're all here for a reason. We're all here to live our life purpose. We just need to figure that out, and we just need to go through a journey of self-discovery. And some of us start very early, some others start halfway through, and some others know they should do something, know they should do something else, know they should be living a life differently, but they are too scared or afraid to act upon the messages that they receive. And so this is why today I decided to talk to you about, because as much as I am the intuition queen and intuition is a strong power for me, I know that I can also get stuck sometime. And so I kind of want to talk to you about the process that can, of course, be different by person to person, but the general overview over things that happen. And so intuition, as you know, can express in a variety of ways. You can feel it, you can hear it, you can see it. But that is not just the only way. So you probably know, because I've spoken about this a few times. I sometimes dream things. I dream about things that will happen. I kind of have premonitions, if you will. And I just recorded an episode of a podcast which is coming up in the next few weeks with a beautiful, amazing woman. She's a mindset coach, and she talks about how she went into business school. She wasn't happy, she wasn't fulfilled, and for 2 weeks she dreamt of being a doctor, and she felt good, and so she dropped out of her course of study to become a doctor, and she became a doctor. And so I find her story fascinating, but I know that that is possible because all of us dream things, and our dreams can actually have messages for us. I have never understood that. My mom is someone that dreams a lot and would tell me things when I was a child, like be careful to this or watch out to that. And the first thing that happened to me was when I was taking an exam at school, and it was the first year that we would have all internal professors, and then there was one person from an exterior commission. And in my dream, 3 or 4 days before I actually took the exam, this man will walk in and start looking at me while I was talking. And just as I was talking with my English teacher, this man walks in, and I froze for a moment because I recognized that was exactly the dream, which for me was a little bit, stressful, because I thought, oh my God, this guy is gonna, is gonna start asking me questions, and nothing happened. But I froze to the point that my flatmate was like, Mar, you know this so well, come on, go ahead. And then I continued to go. And the dreams happen to me throughout the course of my life. And so this is one thing that could happen to you. The reason why you don't feel like your intuition is active, let's say, there are two ways. One is you are too much in your thinking. So you're thinking too much either about what just happened. So say something happens to you that causes you to feel maybe bad about something, or even something positive. Let's say you get nominated for an award, and you might be super happy, but then you might start to go into overthinking mode, where you start to think about, oh my God, you need to have a speech and what you're going to say. The other reason why you might not be able to feel or listen to your intuition is because you are afraid. So, for example, if something happens to you that it's not pleasant, let's say, I think it's a very relatable example this year. Considering the situation, you all of a sudden lose your job, and so this was not something you had thought about. This is something that you didn't see coming, because you were in a situation where you maybe were looking for a new job, or you knew there were situations in your company that made your position at risk or something like that. It just happened because the exterior condition made it happen. And so you might feel so afraid to figure out how to pay your bills, how to eat, and things like this, or even just how to get a new job. Because, of course, there are some people that are in a really bad position, but some others are in an okay position. But of course, that if you, especially if you have a family, you're gonna start thinking, oh my God, what does that mean? Do I need to, I don't know, move back to my parents' house? Do I need, how am I gonna support my family? And a lot of other things that might come up to you. And so the fear keeps you stuck. So fear keeps you in that overthinking mode, for which your intuition has no chance to help you. You might get some hits and some messages, but because you're into this panic mode, you're not able to see them, or even if you do see them, you can't believe them. You can't believe that maybe there is something like, this is actually a great opportunity for you because something better is about to come. The problem is that oftentimes we cannot see what's around the corner. And you probably have seen this and heard this on my podcast. A lot of my guests have talked about how something bad actually turned out to be the best thing that happened to them. And I can tell you from my personal experience, I've had a lot of situations where in the moment I thought that was the worst thing that could happen to me, to later on discover that because of that situation, I felt in a certain way that made me take action in a way that I didn't think I would, and therefore brought me to see this new opportunity and attract this new opportunity. But I know that this is super complicated at the beginning to realize. And so my question for you, it's really just about noticing yourself, because we get messages all the time. The other day I had a conversation with my friend. She's like, you know everything about intuition. I keep on seeing repeating numbers all the time, like 3333 111. What does that mean? And so I explained to her that whenever you see a sequence number on repeat, there is a message for you that is coming, that is trying to come through to you from the higher sources, which can be your God, if you believe in God, or the universe, your angels, your spirit guides. And they are trying to give you messages so that you start taking action in the way that you're supposed to be. I know it might sound crazy, but as I said at the beginning, we're all here for a bigger purpose than just having a good job and having a family and have an okay life. We're all here to express ourselves at the best of our capabilities and possibly help someone else. This is the reason why a lot of you have this desire to be more, to do more, and to help others. It's not a coincidence. And this is something that I hear saying from all of my clients and a lot of people I talk to. And it's not just about women. Men have this desire too, but it's less common for them to follow their intuition and want to get off their stable path, also because there is a different dynamic, especially whenever there is a family behind, and so you have kids. So whatever is happening to you, you might be dreaming things, and if you keep dreaming the same thing or something similar, pay attention to that, because that is one way. One of my guests talked about how the fact that she ignored the signs turned out, she ignored the signs and she ignored her emotions, turned out into physical pain, which became chronic pain. So if you have pain somehow or somewhere in your body, it's not just because it was cold outside, or maybe something, you just stressed. There is a reason for it. And so I really want you to question yourself a little bit more, becoming aware and going through self-discovery. It's really a matter of asking yourself questions. And one argument that my clients or people that I speak to before they become my clients is, how am I gonna investing so much money in myself? It doesn't sound right. I don't think I have the money. I have this, and there is a huge range of excuses, because they struggle to see where they're going to get. They struggle to see how using a coach can actually transform their lives. And so I want you to ask yourself questions in terms of figuring out how that makes you feel. So if you say you want to sign up with a coach, but you feel this coach is too expensive, then I want you to really dig deeper into your current situation and ask yourself questions about how happy you feel, and if this is meant for you. How does that feel in your body, and how will that feel if you decided to hire a coach and get to a point where you can actually leave your job, or create the company you want, find the person that you want, whatever it is, your vision. Because oftentimes fear, if we are used to let fear drives us, let fear control us, it's going to be very difficult for us to make any decision that is not based on fear. And so the only way is to really ask yourself questions and stay in a state of neutrality, which can only happen if you allow yourself to have some calm and some time for yourself. Meditation, it's one of the things that for me it's super helpful. I also go through moments and situations. What you see on my social media is not necessarily every single thing that happens to me in my life, but what I've learned in my in my journey is that anything that happens to you has a reason. And whenever something not necessarily pleasant happens to you, my way of dealing with it is to stay in the emotion that I feel and not brush away the fact that I'm angry, the fact that I am upset, or the fact that someone did something to me that is not pleasant. I want to stay in that emotion for a little while. Like, normally it takes me a few days, depending on how strong I feel the emotions. And then from there, I start to consciously release them. I have made a commitment to myself not to stay for too long in a negative pattern or emotion. But however, you need to work through your negative emotions. So if you're feeling angry at someone or at yourself, don't brush it off. Stay with you. Stay with that emotion. Feel it. And then slowly you will see how that it's going to go. Because if you make a commitment to yourself to always find the good and always feel good, then you will make changes on your day to day. And so I know that I need to stay in that feeling for a little while. So I just allow myself to feel whatever I feel whenever that feeling comes up. And then I meditate and I try to change my perception. And so I do things that make me feel good. So I kind of try to forget for a moment that I am feeling angry, and maybe I watch something that makes me laugh, or I listen to some music that makes me feel good. It's kind of like I distract myself. After I felt it and maybe I wrote down a few things, I just try to go by my day in the opposite way. So because I don't want to stay angry, I don't want to stay, I don't know, upset. So this could be something that you can do. And when I do this, what happens is that then I start to receive messages. And messages, can come as an idea. Oh, maybe I should do this. Or what about I call that person? Or you decide to read a book and you open the first page and there is a sentence that resonates with you for the situation you are in at that particular moment. So there are a variety of ways that you could get messages, but it's very important that you don't shy away from your emotions and you find ways to take action to feel better. So this is another way, because this is one way, because when you stay in a fear space or thinking space for too long, and your ego is going to block any messages. And even if they come through because you're meant to hear them, you're meant to see them, you're going to brush it off because you're going to second guess yourself, or you're not going to think that makes any sense. And so feel the emotions, whatever it's going on. I used to think that if I stayed in that emotion, it would be a waste of my time, especially in situations where, for example, I found myself in situations where I needed to find a job that will allow me to pay the rent, because I didn't have a job at that point. And I realized that I didn't want to waste my time. And so I was always trying to look for a job, although at some point applications end, but I had to do this and then I will feel miserable. So I switched that and I started to wake up maybe with the fear and then do something that will remove my attention from the fear. And so that will be watching something that makes me laugh, do meditation, write, go for a walk, anything that I knew will calm me down. So then I could, with a different energy, look for a job. And this helped me to actually find a great job and sort myself out. And so it's really important that if you are overthinking because maybe you are overwhelmed because you think there are too many things you need to do, but you don't know which one to do first, or you're not sure how to go about certain things, and you keep going on and on and on and on and on. One thing that I would suggest you do is to stop and take time for yourself and do one thing that you know it's going to give you peace. Meditation, it's great, but I know that not everybody feels comfortable with it. And so do something else. You can, start writing and drawing and use colorful stuff for cleaning, gardening. There are a lot of things that you can do that will take your mind off of the problem, let's say, or the feeling. And so once you get off this low vibration, then you do something that distracts this fear or overthinking mode you are in, then you can get messages. And nature, it's the best place to get messages, but really within yourself you will receive messages, because you will have an idea, you will think about someone or something, you will remember things that someone told you one time or more than one time. And and this thing of seeing numbers, seeing different animals that maybe you're not used to see because they're not around where you are, dreaming things, Those are all things that you need to pay attention to, because they're all messages for you. So once you do that, the next thing you can do is to ask for help to the universe or to your God. I know it sounds silly for some people, and it used to sound silly for me. I was like, what do you mean? I mean, there is nobody physically that can help me with this. But what's going to happen? It's calling into your intuition, calling into your higher self, and be like, okay, so I've taken the steps that I needed to take, but now I'm still stuck because nothing is happening. So can you please help me to see the possibilities? And I promise you, you will be scrolling on one of your social media and see a post from someone that resonates with you and be like, oh my God, why did I not think that before? Or you walking around the street and you see a sign or a song, something. So that is the help that you need. That is the help that someone is going to give you, that is coming from your surroundings, really. It can come from within you. At times it does, but oftentimes it comes from your surrounding. And so it's a requirement for you to stay open and be aware of what's going on around you, because messages are all around. Your physical pain is a message. The fact that you keep thinking about the same thing is a message. The fact that you're resistant to something. So one common thing for a lot of people that I know, that I speak with, clients, is being resistant to change. And so we tend to plan our lives in a way that makes sense for us. And we don't normally do a plan B or plan C for our lives, right? We just decide that we're going to live in a certain place and have a certain job and create a certain kind of community and all of that. And what happens is that life happens. And so oftentimes this can create like a massive block for us because it goes against our plans. And so it completely throws us off course, and we get stuck, or we get fearful, or we get upset because our plan cannot happen as we want it to be. And now we need to take a detour, and it's annoying, it's frustrating, and it's gonna delay the time we reach our goal and things like that. I know I used to be like this. I used to get upset for the things that would happen in my life that I did not forecast. Because life happens, then we want it or not. And so what my spiritual journey taught me was to deal with anything that happens to me in a way that allows me to feel empowered to take the right decision. And so you have heard me talk about this many times, but one of those things was when my dad passed away pretty quickly and pretty suddenly. So that was a massive thrown, of course. It's kind of like I was walking on a straight line, and I was happy to be walking on a straight line, and all of a sudden I was smashed on the other side by a car. And I was lost and confused, and I didn't know where I was and where was my straight line, and what would I do from there, and how am I going to get back to where I was. And so I think that this year is a representation of this for a lot of people. And so when those things happen, they're only happening for you and not to you. They're happening to us because we received them, but there is a meaning behind any of those situations, which are there just to make us understand that we need to change the way we're taking action, or maybe we need to rethink about something because deep down we know we're not happy. And so that for me allowed me to feel the fear and do it anyway, and finally sign up to my coaching course. And then from there, take all the action that I've taken up to now that brought me to become a coach, have clients, and do what I love. But it's been a journey, and it's been difficult to get to a point where now I know that whenever something not necessarily pleasant happens to me, is because maybe I was too focused on reaching my goal, my material goal, and I wasn't thinking about other stuff. And so I got to a point where I have my moment in which I need to process the thing that happened. I need to process my emotion, and then I start to see what is this for me? Why is this happening? And when I'm in that mode, then I just feel the next step. Like the next step for me comes fairly easily, depending on the situation, because I have learned to trust myself so much, and I have learned to trust that there is a bigger plan for me here. It doesn't matter how much I plan my life in all the details. I'm not that kind of person, but still I do make my plans, and oftentimes that plans don't go as I want them to go. And so I've learned that when something happens, I need to stop, reflect, relax, take it easy. And then when I am in that receiving mode and relaxed mode, then I can move forward, because I start to get messages of what is it that I need to do next. And this year has happened again really strongly, and I will be talking about this in later on, because there is a massive decision that I've taken, which I never knew, I never thought I would have ever taken, but it's the result of what I just told you. And so when this happens, you're also more accepting of you in that situation, of whatever happened to you. And once you accept that this is what it is, that you cannot change the past, you can only look at the current situation and make sure that you are aligned, so that the next step is going to be aligned to what it is that you want to manifest, your vision, your life purpose, whatever it is. You are also in a state of bliss, because you're no longer in fear. You're no longer thinking that this was so bad for you because you had a plan and now your plan is gone, and now you don't know what to do, and you're afraid to make a mistake, and you are afraid to do something that is not going to be the right thing. So it is important that you accept whatever happens to you. Let's pretend that you have a partner that you love so much, and all of a sudden this person tells you that wants to break up with you, and it does, or she does break up with you. Of course, you are going to be on the receiving end of this situation, but I am 100% sure that if you really look into it, if you really ask yourself, did I feel this coming? There are signs. There are signs, that feeling that you might have had, thoughts that you might have had. So let's pretend, and make it very simple. Let's pretend that you are dating this person, and you've been dating for years, and somehow you think this is your person, and you don't have this fear. You feel settled. And but let's say that throughout the year, you've been having some moments where you had a thought of him being with, or her being with someone else, or you thought there was a weird behavior from your partner's side, or you just had doubts about this person. And then obviously, since nothing was happening that was visible for you, or that was so clear for you to see, you started to go, okay, no, this is just in my head because. And you know how many times we dream things that seem so real, and we get upset with the other person. Oh, you did that to me, and it sounds and feels so real that sometimes we're not sure if it was a dream or if it really happened. Well, then pay attention to that. And so those little moments are just a way to show you that there is something going on you should be paying attention to. Oftentimes, however, when those things happen, because we don't have any clear evidence, and those messages are not persistent, say that maybe you have a message, I don't know, at the beginning of the year, and then something happens 2-3 months after, and they're very sporadic and very quick, and so you just brush them off. And then when this person tells you, oh, I'm sorry, I don't love you anymore, I'm in love with someone else, you put those moments together and you start to tell yourself, I should have listened to myself. This is the right example for everything. There are situations that happen to us and we don't realize how they are there to tell us to really look into that and follow that thought, follow that dream, follow that feeling that you had, and that you brush away. Because when you investigate those feelings, it just opens up a channel that it's going to be clearer, and it's going to allow you to be more in control, and it's going to allow you to have internal clarity. Because when you have internal clarity, and something like this happens to you, you're going to be more accepting of the situation, because it's kind of like, all right, I kind of saw this coming. I just didn't think it doesn't mean that you're not going to be hurt. It doesn't mean that you're not going to feel miserable and whatever it is that you're going to feel, but it's going to allow you to recover quicker and get back on your feet quicker and stay attuned to your intuition. And I personally think that all those situations that happen to us are there to open up channels with our intuition more and more until we finally trust it. And so stay attuned to yourself and listen to yourself, trust yourself. And you can always write things down on a piece, on a diary, and check whenever those things happen or those thoughts happen, and see if there is a common thread or common feeling. Those are messages for you. And this is just for you to know that you are receiving messages, even if you think you're not. And another thing that I wanted to talk about before I wrap up is external situations do have energetic impact on you. So for example, what is happening this year, the fact that we have had to stay home, and everything that we know about. I mean, I don't need to tell you what is going on and how we have been feeling, right? But the pandemic, the staying home, the way our governments has handled the situation, how we have felt with the people around us, the Black Lives Matters movement, all this new way of raising our voice, even with the Turkish lady that got murdered. So now there is this new movement that is rising up to show the world that they need help. I am in London, and so I can think about Brexit, which is another exterior event that has had a great deal of impact on a lot of people. First of all, because a lot of people have been relocated for work. So things have happened without them wanting to happen. A lot of people have started to feel not welcomed here, fearful to be here, not necessarily attuned to the energy of the country. And I had tons of conversations about this. I know how I feel about this. And with time, those situations, those energy, our subconscious is going to allow us to come to a conclusion. And so don't be surprised if at some point after a little while, you make a decision that you never thought you would ever make. But as crazy as it seems, even maybe for your family and friends, you know it's the right decision. Because we always think things happen to us based on what we do, and we never think that exterior situation can have an impact on us. Some people know it, but some people don't think about it. So now we have been going on about adapting ourselves to this 2020 in the way we possibly could, in the best way we could, depending on our situation. And some of us have been feeling okay, some of us have been feeling terrible. But this situation has been moving things within you. And I posted something, I think a couple of weeks ago. I have a lot of people that are telling me they want to move country or go back to their home place, their place where they were born. It's not a coincidence that there is this need to move. It's because a lot of us has realized that if you remove the fun part of the country or city where you're in, you could actually be anywhere else, and it doesn't matter, because the primary things are anywhere. The things that really matter, you can find them anywhere. We move to country and city because we are looking for something, and when this something is taken off of us, then really it no longer matters where you are. And so if you are in this space where you're thinking about this, know that it's probably there are things going on in your personal life, but there are things going on energetically around you that are bringing you to take that decision. And those are, again, messages coming from our guides that are telling us, okay, look, it's time for you to up level and go to the next step, because maybe you've been here to heal and then now you need to go there to, I don't know, become successful, whatever it could be. I've heard so many stories about this, and so this is why I wanted to talk to you about, because the energies around us will always somehow impact us, not necessarily straight away, but they will, and they're messages for us. So if you feel very sensitive about certain matters, dig deeper, because there is a personal message for you there. So yeah, this is what I wanted to talk to you about today. I hope this has been helpful. Do let me know if you have any questions, because I always like to answer your questions. I know you have so many about how intuition works and how to listen to it, so do message me. I hope this episode has been helpful. If you like it, and if you like this podcast in general, please subscribe to all the channels. And if you want to work with me, as you know, I do color therapy, intuitive sessions, oracle cards. They're there to help you really figuring out how to connect to your intuition and manifest your vision, whatever that is. You are extremely powerful, and once you know how to stay in that high vibration that I mentioned earlier, everything is going to come to you as you wish it. And this is what I love doing. I love to empower you, so then you finally realize how powerful you are, how you can trust yourself and manifest what you want. So get in touch. You can go to my website, theintuitionqueen.com, or you can check me out on Instagram, The Intuition Queen, and you can message me if you want. I'm always here. You can book a free session with me if you wish to sign up to my program. Otherwise, if you feel just booking the sessions, the one-off sessions, just go ahead and book it, and then I'll get in touch with you for all the details. Well, thank you so much for watching and listening, and I will talk to you next week.
Your future's at the door.